Spiritualist Church in San Diego included classes in spiritual healing, universal laws, and mediumship. Rev Debra was ordained at the First Spiritualist Church in October of '92 and served in many appointments as well as pastor. She has a long history with Harmony Grove, reading at psychic fairs and teaching at institute classes. Rev Debra has taught many spiritual subjects in psychic development, including universal laws, angel kingdom, tarot, chakra, and aura, and is a Reiki master. She's currently the pastor at First Christian Spiritualist Church in National City, here where we are, lecturing monthly and offering healing and meditation classes. We are co-creators with Spirit to express in love and joy the message of our soul. Say yes to God. So I'd like to introduce to you Rev Debra Desmarais.
Thank you. Isn't she doing a great job? I called her up the other night. I said, hey. She's so wonderful at saying yes to Spirit, you know. And came up one Sunday when I invited her to do a message. And she's like, I don't do that. And I said, yeah, you do. And she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Working with Spirit, it's all about surrendering, just letting go. Because they're doing the work. We're just needing to get out of the way so that they can come through. And everyone gets these beautiful messages from Spirit in so many ways. And healing was the hallmark of Jesus' teachings. It's so important to see how we can help not just others, but also ourselves. Physically, mentally, emotionally, psychically, okay, all these different ways of our energies, and knowing what we need for our balance, and that reconciliation, as you mentioned, is so important, and so much of it is reconciliation with ourselves, forgiving ourselves. Because God's always forgiving us and helping me find my glasses. Oh, oh my.
I heard him go down. Did it go in the crevice?
Oh my goodness, thank you. Maybe they don't want me to use them today. I don't know. But anyway. This Christmas Sunday, we're going to look at several of the meanings of Bethlehem also. The scripture is from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ, which is a wonderful, easy reading story of Jesus' life. Chapter 3, birth of Jesus. The time was nearly due for Jesus to be born, and Mary longed to see Elizabeth, and she and Joseph turned their faces toward the Judean hills. And when upon their way they came to Bethlehem, the day was done, and they must tarry for the night. But Bethlehem was thronged with people going to Jerusalem. The inns and homes were filled with guests. Joseph and his wife could find no place to rest, but in a cave where animals were kept, and there they slept. At midnight came a cry, a child was born in yonder cave among the beasts, and lo, the promised Son of Man was born. And strangers took the little one and wrapped him in the dainty robes that Mary had prepared, and laid him in a trough from which the beasts of burden fed. 3 persons clad in the snow white robes came in and stood before the child and said, all strength, all wisdom, and all love be yours, Emmanuel. Now in the hills of Bethlehem were many flocks of sheep with shepherds guiding them. The shepherds were devout, were men of prayer, and they were waiting for a strong deliverer to come. And when the child of promise came, a man in snow-white robe appeared to them, and they fell back in fear. The man stood forth and said, "Fear not, behold, I bring you joyful news. At midnight in a cave in Bethlehem was born the prophet and the king that you have long been waiting for." And then the shepherds all were glad, and they felt that all the hills were filled with messengers of light, who said, "All glory be to God on high. Peace, peace on earth, goodwill to men." And then the shepherds came with haste to Bethlehem and to the cave, that they might see and honor him whom men have called Emmanuel. Now when the morning came, a shepherdess whose home was near prepared a room for Mary, Joseph, and the child, and then they tarried many days. And Joseph sent a messenger in haste to Zacharias and Elizabeth to say, "The child is born in Bethlehem." And Zacharias and Elizabeth took John the Baptist, and came to Bethlehem with words of cheer. And Mary and Elizabeth recounted the wondrous things that had transpired. The people joined them in praising God. According to the custom of the Jews, the child was circumcised, and when they asked, "What will you call a child?" the mother said, "His name is Jesus, as the man of God declared." May the beauty and wonder of this season fill you with joy. I wish you to think about the part of your life that truly brings meaning and joy to you. This is where your heart finds comfort, peace, and joy. This is where you are. This is where your consciousness lives. This is your sacred Bethlehem. Okay, we're going to look at the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary of the meaning of Bethlehem. And the first two paragraphs actually talk about our solar plexus chakra, the energies and issues there. Bethlehem, house of bread, place of food, house of sustenance, a house of living. A town, a city of Judah, it's the birthplace of David and of Jesus. In Genesis 35:19, it's called Ephrath, and in Ruth 4:11, Ephrathah. Bethlehem means house of bread, symbolizing the abiding place of substance. It indicates a nerve center at the pit of the stomach, which is your solar plexus, through which universal substance joins the refined or spiritualized chemicals, products of the body substances. Through this center are gradually generated the elements that go to make up the electrical body of the Christ man. Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea. So this is where we center ourselves, our being, our personality, our discrimination. That's where we choose what is right and pure and true for us, okay? And builds that foundation of the Christ energy within our body. Judea means praise or spiritual recognition. The tribe of Judah symbolizes the aggregation of thoughts that has acknowledgement of spiritual things as the one and only reality. The one and only reality. Because how many times have we looked and heard and studied how the world is an illusion. It's our place of learning. Thus, the substance of which the Jesus man is born in us must be spiritual in character. substance. Faith is the substance. And after the third paragraph, talking about balancing mind and heart, mental and emotional parts. And then this fourth paragraph explains the cohesion of personal will with divine will. At Bethlehem, the substance center in man, a union of love and wisdom takes place, and the Christ is brought forth in substance. In Ruth 1, verse 22, the beginning of barley harvest symbolizes a renewal or a reunion of soul and body with true substance. The love of the soul in man, Ruth, must be established in the substance of spirit before it can become productive of eternal satisfaction. How are we nourishing our spirit? Are we truly living and experiencing life's offerings? Or are we just trying to get by, go through the motions? Are we willing to put our faith out there, not just sensing, but knowing that God will sustain us through wherever or whatever our paths lead, as Jesus showed us and taught us? Let us remember and use the powers of love He gives each of us. Sometimes we can make things so difficult for ourselves, okay? Sometimes we're pretty good at sabotaging ourselves. But that's when it's time to stand back and say, what is truth? What really is true here? Where are my facts? What's going on? What's your pit of your stomach? What is your gut telling you? Because it wrenches up when there's lies, when there's deceit around us. And then it's like finding that center, balancing ourselves, body, mind, spirit, back to the earth energy, back to God, knowing all is well, and breathe, and let it out. And oh yes, and I'd like you to show you a mudra today. Who all uses mudras in their meditations? And it's Indian energy that helps bring us more to a focus of certain aspects. And the mudra, you're touching your little finger, your third finger, and your little finger to your thumb, and your first two fingers straight up. And I found this at World Market, and I bought it. It represents the prana of life. And I thought this was so cool, you know, and gave it as a gift last night, and people were not getting it. I tried to share with them, and a lot of them are of a spiritual nature. But it's really important to when something is right there for you, to really pay attention to that. And there were several of them actually, but the one, the prana for life, just really spoke to me. And so during saying your prayers, like a lot of us learn to meditate holding our fingers together here. Sorry, I didn't look that one up. But it's like it's all about body alignment, and it's like it kind of clicks something with us when we stand up straight, letting our chakras be aligned. Makes such a difference than when we slump, okay? Just doing that posture brings in that energy of knowing, of respect, of honoring yourself. Use the powers and love He gives each of us. I will close with a poem, Peace of Bethlehem, by Arthur Kennedy Rouswell. It's a beautiful Christmas book, you know, that's filled with poems and stories and that my mother had given me. And let us remember those dear ones far away and send them love. The peace of Bethlehem. The magic spell of Christmas time enshrines our hearts again, and folk are praying everywhere for peace on earth toward men. Yet fretfully we live each day, all hungering to know the peace that came from Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. Glad tidings come for all mankind from out the manger birth, as herald angels sang the song of peace, goodwill on earth. Yet constantly we seek to find a cure for this world's woe. The answer came from Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. The weary Mary trod her way across the Judean hills, her unborn child, a promise sure for all this sad world's ills. For one wish we hold this Christmas time, that you and all may know the peace that came from Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. May our holidays and your lives be filled with that Christ child spirit. And I was also looking for this precious book I had that tells stories of Jesus' childhood. And he was a little character too, all little boys. But it tells of when he was born. There was actually a handmaiden that came to him to help with his birthing. And she had a withered hand actually, and after the birth, it was made whole. He was working the healing energy that he brought in from his previous work, incarnations, with healing. And remember, Jesus said, as I do, you can do even greater things. And when you meditate and think on that, and recognize the power that is within each and every one of us, it's miraculous. You are a miracle. And you're all born created of love. Thank you so much for joining us today.